Welcome everyone to another action figure collection video for my Marvel Cinematic Universe, the S.H.F Figuarts line. And this is everything for Phases 4, as we're here to discuss the collection, the future releases, and what is next for this line. So the movie Black Panther Wakanda Forever is released next month, meaning another phase of the MCU does come to a close. Phase 5 is just around the corner, and that basically means more new figures for the future. But in the meantime, we're going to recap everything in Phases 4, and I know that there are other brands who make the 1/12 scale like Hasbro as well as Medicom. Both have some excellent figures on the market, but my main focus has always been the S.H. Figuarts line, so I'm going to do this in the order of the timeline, and I'm going to start off with their one and only Disney Plus wave. So first up is Sam Wilson, aka Falcon from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and this is a good introduction to collecting Phase 4 simply because he's a familiar face and it's a continuation story of what happened post Avengers Endgame. And I like this figure as it's an improvement to the Infinity War edition in my opinion. Just the proportions, the head sculpts, the lightness with and without the goggles. It also includes a stand which we don't often see, and you also have Red Wing included. And let's see what happens in the future films, as I would love to see a Captain America version later down the line, as we did see his transformation towards the end of the series. Next from the same line is the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes. Again, a familiar face as we have the Infinity War version already. It is however very different with his new haircut, new suit, new metal arm. It doesn't have any guns like the Infinity War one, but it does come with a shield and a stand. And I personally think this is a decent likeness, but I just prefer his overall look in Infinity War. And I'm still waiting for the Captain America Winter Soldier version, as that's the one that we had a teaser many years ago. But this, with the Falcon figure, it does make a good pairing. And lastly for this line, we have the new Captain America, the John F. Walker edition. I know he got a lot of hate for trying to be the new Cap, not just in the series, but the actor had abuse thrown at him in real life. And I think that is just a bit overboard. He was just playing a role, and sometimes people shouldn't take things too seriously. So overall, I liked his take on Cap. As he says in the series, he's not trying to be Steve. He has his own beliefs and values, and I think it worked in the series. This, of course, is his earlier suit, the red and blue colors. Will they do the US agent later on? I doubt it, but I'm happy with this one. So it does include the right amount of accessories, like the unmasked head sculpt, the shield effect. So we have a nice trio for this line to set up that fight. So that's the three figures together. I will probably have to pick up the Marvel Legends Sharon Carter and Baron Zemo just to add more characters, but this is a nice lineup to start off Phase 4, and you couldn't really argue with them with the first three releases, although some would say to give us the Sam Wilson Captain America as well. So let's move on to the first movie release of Phase 4, and that is Black Widow. They gave us three figures in this line too, starting off with the black suit edition of Natasha Romanoff. This has a unique look, in my opinion. It does follow the trend of all the S.H. Figuarts Black Widows, where they pretty much nailed the face sculpt. Not only do we get a suit that's more closer to the comics this time, we also get a weapon never previously seen on the S.H. Figuarts. So we have the dagger, and they've also included a set of tasers. Add to the familiar accessories like the guns, the batons. This is overall a great figure. Of course, if you're looking for more of an iconic look, then the first Avengers, Infinity War, or the Endgame ones would be the better choice. Then we get the villain of the film to go with Black Widow, and that is Taskmaster, quite known in the comics. I think this movie had a lot of potential for this character, but it didn't quite hit the heights. As a figure, however, it is quite decent. The likeness is there. You get a ton of weapons like the pistol, the shield, a bow and arrow, the blade, and together with Black Widow, it does make an outstanding display for a fight scene. And finally we have another Black Widow, this time the Snowsuit edition. This is a nice take on Black Widow again, with an amazing likeness this time with the new hairstyle. We get the usual weapons, the guns and batons. The bright look will definitely stand out from your display. It's not a must figure for me in this line since the black suit is the one in the final fight, but this is the first time we see Black Widow in white in live action, so I say it's quite an iconic look. So that's the line they have so far. I would have liked a Yelena Belova. Maybe if she appears more in Phase 5, we will eventually. And I think Hasbro did a pretty good job of the parents, both Red Guardian and Melina, so those are some of the other options out there. Okay, next is Shang-Chi from Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And this was a great movie, the best in Phase 4 so far, in my opinion. And being Asian Chinese as well, this meant a lot. And just like Black Panther, it's possibly a game changer for us. So this figure was always going to be the first in the line, the star of the show. It's a decent enough figure for all kinds of martial arts poses. And this is when the articulation of Tamashii Nations figures really excel. This was announced before the film's release, so there could still be improvements like adding the ring effects, but it does come with a weapon and a ton of hands, so it's a good addition overall. It's one of those basic figures where the cost was on the lower end of an S.H.F Figuarts, so I do want to see later down the line a final battle edition. Bandai have also revealed a prototype of Wenwu, but there's no set date on the release. Hasbro is the other option as they have a lot more of the characters, so they've also included a Shang-Chi as well as Wenwu, Xialing, Katie and Death Dealer. For now, this is what we get in this line. Of course, I still hope for at least a Wenwu, so let's move on to the next figure. Then it's the Eternals line, introducing a fresh wave of new characters to the MCU. And starting off with Cersei, a cool looking figure with different face sculpts, a couple of weapons, including the crystal one. It's not a super exciting figure. I think you really need the whole team to make a display. But I understand why Bandai have made this character first. She is the star of the show and the most powerful Eternal. So I definitely like this character in the film, and it's a good addition to my collection. Then we have Icarus, another character that was the obvious choice to make. I believe he was one of the leaders in the comics, and he certainly played a pivotal role in this movie. He does have some interesting accessories for this figure, like the ones attached to the back of him, as well as the blaster effect on a separate piece on a stand. We also have the alternative head sculpt with the blaster effects, although I do prefer it if they had the angry face to give it that fighting look. But all in all, it's a good figure as the pricing was on one of the lower ends. And the last Eternal to release so far is Kingo, and I think this is like the other two that offers something very simple, an alternative head, some hands, and some sort of effect. So this one has the blaster, which you attach to either side of the hand. And would you say he deserves a release over Fina or Ajax? Probably not, but even if those two were released, you would still want the whole team. So this is the Eternals lineup so far. Even though I do prefer this over the Marvel Legends, I wouldn't say they are much better to roar in this version over the Hasbro ones, as the Marvel Legends does have the complete team. I would eventually have to pick up the Marvel Legends to make my display, as I don't think Bandai will be making any more. And now we have the line that is the most anticipated after watching the movie, of course, with the two previous generations of Spider-Mans returning, and that is the Spider-Man No Way Home line. So first, we have the new suit of the movie, known as the Integrated Suit, and this is now slowly becoming my favourite suit for Spider-Man in the MCU, alongside the Iron Spider. I just like the design overall with the gold chest emblem. I know this figure doesn't really do it justice, as it has a matte type of finish, very similar to the Infinity War Iron Spider figure, and of course after watching the movie we know that this isn't quite accurate, as it does still have the arm guards. There is a neck accessory included where you can put on the unmasked head sculpt for Peter Parker, but you do have to buy the black and gold suit figure. There is a new version, however, out in 2023, known as the Final Battle Edition, where you will have a brand new skull, battle damage suit, an unmasked head sculpt, and it will cost a lot more, but it's definitely the better option. But if you want a basic one, then this is still a good figure. And now for the Spider-Man upgraded suit, and it's kind of a re-release of his Far From Home suit, just titled No Way Home for marketing reasons, as he also wore this earlier in the movie. And this is kind of like the Homecoming figure where they re-released it for the Far From Home lineup. And this is a figure I picked up as I don't have the Far From Home edition, and it does pay homage to his first appearance in the comics with the black colours, so it is an important figure, but it's not a must for your Phase 4 lineup. Then it's the alternative suit of the movie, known as the black and gold suit. I know it didn't feature much in the film, but it's one of those suits that's probably there to sell more merchandise. Nevertheless, it's still Spider-Man in black, which is a alternative look, not uncommon. We've seen it many times over the years in the animated series, the comics, the films. We'll also have the effects and the arm guards. And in the movie, I believe it was on the right, but for this figure, they placed it on the left-hand side. But it's still a cool effect, and they've also included the chest replacement piece too. There's also the unmasked Peter Parker head sculpt, which I mentioned you can put on the integrated suit. And they've also included a stand, which I believe is limited edition. So that's just something to take note of. So that's the 3 Spider-Man No Way Home figures I have in my collection. There is still one which I didn't pick up, and that was the Iron Spider suit, as I already have the Infinity War and Endgame versions, and I feel that's already enough, as I'm looking forward to the next 3 Spider-Man scheduled for next year, and believe me, that's a lot of Spider-Mans just for one wave. And then we have Doctor Strange from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I enjoyed this film a lot, so this was a figure line I wanted. He does have a different costume compared to the previous films, so this figure is something new, something different, and for the first time, the cloak is a totally separate piece from the figure. The cloak, however, doesn't seem to sit too well, it seems too high, so they maybe could have had a better clip or attachment to the back. I do prefer the cloak floating on the stand. There is a snake effect included, but there is no portal this time, just a backdrop, and no alternative head sculpt. So it's not the best S.H. Figuarts Doctor Strange around, but certainly an important one for this phase. I want to see a Wanda made for this line. She's the one that would enhance this display, battling Doctor Strange. I know we still don't have a WandaVision version yet, but since they did announce the Vision figures, I'm guessing we'll get a Wanda figure from that line. Other characters like America Chavez and Wong already picked up the Marvel Legends versions, so that's a collection I'm already building, but if they ever announce the Illuminati, I would definitely be up for it. But yes, we need that Wanda figure. Then it's the latest MCU movie release with Thor from Thor Love and Thunder. Say what you think about the film, but I liked it. I had a lot of fun watching it, and it's more of the old MCU style. This is like the 6th Thor S.H. Figuarts in the collection, so it's crowded with the God of Thunder. But this suit is something very different, this time inspired from the Jack Kirby comic book look, with more of the brighter yellow and blue colours. And there's no helmet included, which was very brief in the film. I know Hasbro did it, but it's not really needed, but we get the more important accessories like the Stormbreaker, the effects, and multiple face sculpts. Very much what we expect in a Thor S.H. Figuarts, so quoting Thor himself, I like this one. Then it's Mighty Thor from Thor Love and Thunder. This is the first Jane Foster figure, so this is a great addition. It pretty much implements everything in a Thor S.H. Figuarts into this one in her own style, with the Mjolnir, the exploding one, the lightning effects, the soft cape, and we also get, in my opinion, a super accurate Jane Foster head sculpt. So together with Thor, this makes a great display. So 2 figures so far for the Thor Love and Thunder. I do hope they make a Gore, I think that would be great. Otherwise I'm going to have to settle for the Marvel Legends one, which of course have a larger collection. And it's the same case for King Valkyrie. So this wraps up the Phase 4 collection for the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the S.H. Figuarts line. Of course, we can look forward to more releases in 2023. I also hope they give us a Black Panther Wakanda Forever line and keep that trend of at least one figure from all the Phase 4 movies. So this isn't as exciting as Phase 3, but it is building into something, and I believe some of these characters will return for the next Avengers movies, so we could see figures of these once again. So comment down below which one you think is the best figure in Phase 4 and who else they should make. There's still no sign of Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk. Maybe they'll wait until they actually appear in the movies. We're going to have to wait and see. Like and subscribe and stay tuned to more MCU related videos for S.H. Figuarts, as I'll keep you updated on the news and review the 3 Spider-Mans next year. In the meantime, check out some of the contents with the links below. Thanks for watching and bye for now.